So what I've got going on here with the fuel sending unit in the tank is I basically took this tank back out. I need to add one 3/4 boss on the side of the tank, and I also need to add the actual new sending unit for the Terminator Cobra in the tank. What I did with this hat was I made my own special hat, and we're putting that in the air quotes. It's just a little quick, crude custom hat that I made, and we'll get into looking at that here. Alright, so we'll get down into the fuel hat. Now, this is a normal fuel hat for your 98 Cobra because it has a return on it. And basically what I've done here is I've got the fuel lines and everything kind of wrapped on each other. The return I left alone. I didn't do much with that. But as you can see, I've basically just got all this on a bracket. It's very simple. It's crude, but it works. It's working perfectly with the sump because this is the 03-04 Cobra tank. This is one of the ones you can just buy online new, that has a sump in it already. See if I can work this bad boy out of here with the wires. Here we go. And basically what I did on this hat to support this, let's see if I can turn this around, is see that one bracket there. Just a very simple bracket. Holds the walbro 450 on, and that's all she wrote. There's not much more that needs to be done on that bracket other than bolt the actual sending unit to it so that the sending unit can actually fit down here in the sump itself. If you look in the fuel tank, you can see the actual sump area, and all I need to do is drill some holes on this hat and get it integrated inside the tank, and that will actually do exactly what I need it to do. It's a very simple modification, but I'm gonna have to clean up this wiring to actually make sure that I can get the sending unit to actually fit in there. The sending unit isn't gonna exactly fit properly if I don't put it in the spot that I need to put it in. So I'm going to make those changes. Then I'm going to add the anti-slosh valve over here as well from the other older tanks so that it actually has a way to breathe a little bit easier because this one isn't allowing it to breathe on the fill. So that's why I had to drop the tank again. Of course, I had to get the tank in a hurry because I needed to drive this vehicle to the new facilities and everything in the garage. So I had to get this done in a jiff, and I didn't have much time at all to spare. But now that I have it here, drop the pump again, I could go ahead and make that modification, and then we can get it done. So this is what I came up with for the hat and all the assembly. As you can see, the walbro is on that assembly that I made. That little bar, basically clamped it down. That is actually a secure method of using it, the hose clamps to hold the pump in place. Pump doesn't rock around or move, it stays secure. The stock wiring did not work out for me to attach the ground wire to this sending unit, so I went ahead and added that to the sending unit right here like so. And of course there's all the wires. I've got a lot of the wires tucked up into the hat, and of course on the top of the hat I made a bolt down there in that position since I don't have like a welder or anything for that little bar to go down. This is honestly very similar to just the stock Terminator Cobra hat assembly. You got the whole pump. This is just that return pipe that would normally go to the bucket. I never took that off. I'll probably take that off here and just let it feed right back to the sump area in the tank itself, just so that sump area always stays filled with some return fuel. Everything will still fit in, and since there's going to be a top hat area on the side here, the vent, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna either make a tap here for the side vent that goes to the fuel tanks on these, because all the way up to 99 they had a little about 3/4 to 5/8 bong that was part of the fuel tank, and of course these 03-04 Cobra tanks don't have it, or 2000 and up tanks don't have it either, I believe. Of course new fuel tank grommet for the filler neck, and then of course I just used the Noico that I had as some little areas for rub prevention between the frame of the car, the straps, and the fuel tank so that we don't get any rub spots. And from what I saw, that appeared to work pretty well because I don't have any rub spots in that area. So now I just have to put this back in the tank once I get everything finalized, get the wires tied down a little bit, and then stick it in the fuel tank as an assembly and bring it back up. I've actually already tested that the fuel sending unit does work in the cab of the car. So I looked at that, moved it some different positions to get an indication, and it did give a good indication. So we just put it in the car as an assembly together, and this car's fuel tank swap will be done, and we won't have any issues with the slosh anymore. And then we can bring the Marauder in here next so that we can get that belt tightened up and do dyno and some drag strip time. This segment of the work had a lot of options, so what I went ahead and did is, since this is a 98 Cobra, which is the bastard fuel system as we put it in, it has a little tube, a little return tube, a breather tube that goes to the filler neck. So since that filler neck has that tube, I either had the option of patching out this upper hole and putting the stock vacuum line position on it, and I can also use this blue style, which, hey, you see that blue style is from the new style tank. I may switch to that for the vacuum. Not 100% sure just this moment. Looking here, so you have your grommet, and this is the Terminator Cobra tank. What I did here is I use a tap and tap in to 3/8, which is actually a little bit smaller of a nipple than that hose requires, but at least I'll be able to have some breathing and I'll be able to have the hose there. I would suggest trying to go to a larger size, but this is where it ended up coming out for me. Of course, I've got that protection on the tank. The tank is sealed back again. What I'm going to do here, this is the hose that will return here, and I'm actually going to do a little small patch over this area just to ensure that that stays sealed with the tar. I've used a little bit of Teflon for the very outer thread since I was going to run it down. I used a tap and die set, of course, to tap the 3/8 bolt in, and the 3/8 NPT rather, so it's a 3/8 NPT, and that's ran in, and that works well. And I'll do a little small insulation on the end of that fitting, and then we can put this tank back up into the car and fill it, test it, make sure the float shows up, and hey, we'll be good to go. But that's what I did for this tank installation on this car. You don't have to do this way, but it was a quick and easy way of doing it. Just a little simple $2 3/8 fitting NPT, and a well, it's a 1/2 inch on the outside rather. The 3/8 on the inside. So the 3/8 is just for the thread, and that was just so I'd have somewhere to thread the thing. But as long as you do that, as long as you get the best hose that you need onto it, then that's all she wrote basically. There's not much else to go with that. You just want that tank to be able to work, and you want to be able to have that vent so that when you fill it up, you're not getting like squirted back out at, and the tank can breathe properly.